So what's really going on here? Let's get into it. Ari Lennox is trending heavy right now after some interview clips started making the rounds and people are not holding back with their reactions. In this interview, she shared her thoughts on dating, relationships, and her personal experiences. And let's just say it stirred up a lot of strong opinions online. Now, if you've been paying attention, this isn't the first time Ari has opened up about her struggles in dating. She's previously admitted that she may have chosen the wrong partners in the past, taking some level of accountability for how things played out. But after getting pushback from people online, things seem to have shifted again. Instead of that reflective tone, critics are saying her latest comments come off way more frustrated and pointed, and that's where the controversy really starts heating up. You can see a pattern forming, at least according to some viewers. There's this ongoing debate about accountability, dating expectations, and how public figures talk about relationships. Some people feel like Ari is just being honest about her experiences, while others think the tone comes off as unfair or overly critical. And with social media watching every move, every word gets picked apart fast. Now the conversation has turned bigger than just one interview. It's about dating culture, perception, and who really gets held accountable in the end. Now here's where things really start getting messy. In this other clip, Ari's on a podcast with another guest, and they're both talking about how men supposedly react to successful women. And that conversation has people raising eyebrows fast. Some listeners feel like the discussion paints men in a negative light, while others think it's just another perspective being shared. Either way, it's definitely sparking debate online. And then people started bringing up her past comments too. There's still chatter about the time she criticized Martin Lawrence over jokes from a scripted TV show. Critics are saying those jokes were part of comedy, where everyone on set joked about each other and nobody was singled out. That situation didn't sit right with a lot of fans, and now it's being brought back into the spotlight as people question her takes even more. Because of all this, some viewers are starting to form strong opinions about her overall attitude toward relationships and men. They feel like instead of focusing on personal experiences, the message can come off as blaming or dismissive, which only adds more tension to the conversation. Meanwhile, others are defending her, saying she's just speaking her truth. Either way, the reactions are loud, divided, and not slowing down anytime soon. Now this is where the conversation really turns intense. Some critics are going as far as saying the issue isn't about appearance or outside factors at all. They're arguing it could be deeper, like mindset, attitude, or how someone carries themselves in relationships. That take is hitting hard online and not everyone agrees with it, which is only making the debate louder. What's really got people talking is the idea of criticizing the same group you're trying to connect with. A lot of viewers are questioning that approach, saying it creates confusion and pushes people further apart instead of bringing any real understanding. Others, though, feel like it's just frustration being expressed out loud. Either way, the reactions are heated and the comment sections are going wild over it. At the end of the day, people are going to form their own opinions and move how they want, no matter what's being said online. And with all this tension building, it's time to roll into the clips and see exactly what sparked all this noise.
They're gonna be mad at me saying this, but I also feel like that American dream has been sold to us, and women are just now figuring out that maybe that's not for me. Oh, go to college, you marry somebody, the white picket fence, and marriage happily ever after. When you're a successful woman and you've accomplished so much on your own, a lot of times they don't have much to add to you. So unless you are making me happy, I feel safe around you, I feel good. Right. I don't care on paper how good you look, because my life looks good without you.
Now this next part has people seriously going off online. Some critics are calling this mindset generational singleness, arguing that certain dating beliefs keep repeating over time without being questioned. That claim alone is stirring up a lot of pushback, especially because it generalizes a complex situation, and not everyone is here for that take. Then the conversation shifts to success and relationships, which is where things really heat up. There's this argument floating around that career success doesn't necessarily attract a partner the way some people think it does.
I feel better without you, even if you are a good man. I'm okay without you. And we have figured that out. We figured out how to make money. We figured out how to purchase homes. We figured out how to have these bomb-ass careers. And it's like, okay, we're good.
Others strongly disagree, saying that's an outdated mindset and that success can absolutely play a role depending on the person. Still, the debate keeps growing, especially when people start comparing different dating preferences and expectations. And it doesn't stop there. People are also reacting to the messaging around independence, like the idea of "you don't need a man," which has been discussed for years. Some feel that message is empowering, while others believe it clashes with what people actually want in their personal lives. That tension is exactly why this topic keeps blowing up over and over again. On top of that, critics are pointing out what they see as contradictions between what's said publicly and how people move in real life. They're questioning things like attention-seeking behavior, relationship expectations, and whether certain standards even match reality. Meanwhile, others are pushing back hard, saying everyone's path is different and shouldn't be judged so quickly. Either way, this conversation is loud, layered, and not slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah, and they are hating that. So instead of them being happy for us and cheering for us that we have figured this out, they're like, oh, but you're 30-something. You've never been married. You ain't got no kids. Babe, you can never make me feel bad about my life.
They hate that we okay with being single.
Look
Now,
at these.
this part really has people fired up. The clip shows a group of women talking about feeling like men resent their success, and that statement alone has sparked a huge reaction online. Some viewers are straight up rejecting that idea, saying most men aren't bothered by a woman being successful at all. Instead, they argue the real issue comes down to compatibility, communication, and how people approach relationships. Then things take another turn when the topic of control in relationships gets brought up. Critics are saying the real tension isn't about success, but about expectations, who leads, who decides, and how power is shared. That's where opinions start clashing hard. Some believe modern relationships should be fully equal in every way, while others feel that certain dynamics just don't work for everyone. And once that debate starts, it gets heated fast.
They hate it.
Yeah, and then there are people who have been married and maybe it didn't work out, or God forbid might have lost their spouse and things, and they wind up single parents. And so I just kind of feel like it's so much disrespect around single people, single parents, and I feel like it's just weird.
It's very weird.
No,
What really adds fuel to the conversation is how differently people interpret behavior. One side sees independence and strong opinions as confidence, while the other side might view it as controlling or difficult to deal with. That gap in perception is exactly why these discussions keep going in circles online. At the same time, plenty of people are pushing back on the criticism, saying it unfairly targets women and ignores individual situations. They argue that everyone's circumstances are different, especially when it comes to work, family, and personal responsibilities. In the end, this whole debate keeps getting louder because nobody seems to agree on what the real problem actually is.
Yeah, people are single for different reasons, and it's best that we are healthy and why we're single.
And then you said, like, especially your mental health. A lot of times they be like, oh, you with this good man. Y'all don't know what goes.
Now, this part of the discussion is getting a lot of strong reactions too. Some critics are pointing to risky dating behavior and saying it plays a role in how certain situations turn out, especially when people rush into connections without really knowing each other. That argument is sparking debate, with some agreeing and others saying it's an unfair generalization. They're also bringing up the issue of unplanned pregnancies and how often those situations happen outside of long-term committed relationships. According to this perspective, when there isn't a solid foundation, it can sometimes lead to one parent stepping away after the child is born. That claim has people talking heavy online, with many pushing back and saying every situation is different and shouldn't be boxed into one narrative. As expected, this topic is hitting nerves on both sides, and the conversation is only getting louder from here. Now, this next take is really getting people in the comments talking. The question being raised is simple but controversial. What actually makes someone attractive in the dating world? Some critics are asking whether things like owning a home, having a car, or making good money truly influence attraction, and the responses are all over the place.
A man could have a woman who's good on paper, right? She's successful, she's beautiful, and they're like, oh, she got too many college degrees. I know why he left that bitch. She's probably a know-it-all.
Yeah. I thought it was everything to have a house, to have just be taking care of myself, and all of these things, all of these ambitious goals of mine that I've been able to achieve. I thought that would be attractive. And in me,
From one side, you've got people arguing that material success isn't the main factor when it comes to building real interest or long-term relationships. They're saying qualities like personality, character, and how someone treats others matter way more in the long run. But on the flip side, others are pushing back hard, saying stability, ambition, and independence absolutely do play a role, and ignoring that just doesn't match reality.
Because of this heifer.
Meeting men and dating a lot of successful men, none of them would ever talk about how exciting it is that I've invested in properties, or would ever even want to come to see my house, or at all. It was very much so, no, just come over here, or you know, it felt like all my accomplishments were minimized.
Wow.
And so I realized, I don't know what I was thinking growing up, thinking that like me being accomplished and independent would attract other successful men, and just realizing, wow, I think it deters them.
Yeah.
It does.
Then the conversation shifts into a bigger debate about modern dating expectations. Some feel like there's confusion around what different people actually value, especially when it comes to balancing independence with partnership. That's where things start getting heated, because not everyone agrees on what should matter most. There's also a wider discussion happening about how societal messages have shaped dating preferences over time. Some critics believe certain ideas have created unrealistic expectations or mixed signals, while others argue those same ideas have empowered people to build their own lives first. Either way, this topic is clearly striking a nerve, and people are not holding back with their opinions. Now, this part right here is sparking a whole new level of debate. The focus shifts to who successful men choose to date, and opinions are coming in strong from every direction. Some people argue that high-earning men often go for younger, attractive partners, while others quickly push back, saying plenty of successful couples are evenly matched in ambition, lifestyle, and goals. But where things really get heated is around what actually counts as attractive in the dating world. There's a claim floating around that things like careers, degrees, and financial independence don't carry as much weight as some believe. Critics of that idea are calling it outdated, saying stability and accomplishment absolutely matter in modern relationships. Meanwhile, others insist that emotional connection, personality, and physical attraction still take the lead. Then the conversation starts digging into deeper social factors, which is where it gets even more sensitive. Some voices are pointing to upbringing, relationship examples growing up, and shifting family structures as influences on how people view dating today. That perspective has people divided, with many saying it oversimplifies complex realities and unfairly generalizes different experiences. At the same time, others argue there's a disconnect in expectations, what one side values versus what the other is actually looking for. And that gap is exactly why these conversations keep going in circles online, with no clear agreement in sight. One thing is clear though, this topic is hitting nerves everywhere, and people are not staying quiet about it. Now this part right here is really adding fuel to the fire. Some critics are calling out the tone of certain comments, saying they come off harsh and dismissive, especially when it comes to past situations like the Martin Lawrence controversy. That situation is still being brought up, with people debating whether the reaction to those old jokes was justified or completely blown out of proportion. At the same time, there's a growing wave of voices online trying to push their perspective on dating expectations before it's too late, as they put it. They're warning that misunderstanding what partners actually value can lead to frustration later on, and that message is getting a lot of mixed reactions depending on who you ask. Then the discussion circles back to a familiar argument. What really matters in dating versus business? Some people are saying things like degrees, income, and assets don't carry the same weight in romantic relationships as they do in professional settings. Others strongly disagree, arguing those factors still play a role in compatibility and long-term stability. That contrast in viewpoints is exactly why this conversation keeps blowing up. One side is focused on emotional connection and attraction, while the other highlights independence and achievement, and neither side is backing down anytime soon. And here's how the argument wraps up, and it's definitely not holding back. The claim being made is that most men aren't focused on things like assets or financial status when it comes to attraction, and that only certain types of people would prioritize that for the wrong reasons. That take has people split, with many calling it an oversimplification, while others are agreeing and saying it reflects their real-life experiences. Then it shifts into a bigger critique of modern dating ideas, with some blaming changing social dynamics for creating confusion about what relationships should actually look like. That perspective is getting strong reactions, especially from those who feel like it ignores how much dating has evolved over time. Others, though, are saying it explains why expectations feel so mismatched today. At the end of the day, this whole situation has people talking from every angle, and clearly nobody is on the same page. So now it's your turn. What do you think about all of this? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video so more people can join the conversation.